7-yard line. That's a great call, too. Blaine Baker, Plummer will put it up, throws over the middle. Touchdown. Great play.
That's a way. Trying to center off to Eckerly, and he just missed the net. O'Reilly with the shot. Far down, he scored.
From behind for a month. Now with the lead, they're getting a little wobbly. Philadelphia, they won't get him. Wow! Edwards pulls up and buries a flag. Richardson tries, out for Robbie Ryan. Her three right on the money. Daniels takes his shot for Derby.
What is up, my Pitchfork Lunch peeps, man? Welcome on into Mike what day is it? Hump Day. When's Hump Day? Woo! Yep, I screwed it up, but you know, that's from Mama. That's my mom's favorite commercial. So, yes, it is Wednesday here on Pitchfork Lunch, and I am so glad you are here, guys, as we get rolling. It's summer. Summer started. Well, actually, technically, no. Well, it's summer break, you could say, but the summer solstice is June 21st, just in case you're wondering. But yeah, you see the background. I am in Weather Up Center, the women's practice facility, because we are going to be talking to head coach Molly Miller very shortly. So this is absolutely phenomenal, absolutely awesome. Big day here on Pitchfork Lunch. As we will hear from Bobby Hurley, it is an all hoops day, but that's okay. There's a lot going on in Sun Devil Nation, but got to come out today, so very, very awesome. But I am Michael Caratanudo at Diablo00 on X, the artist formerly known as the Twitter, as you guys all know. Check out the show live there every day, Monday through Friday, 12 to 1. As you know, you can do that. And also, I know I remind you daily, you can go to the good old IG at michael.caratanudo.5. That you can do. Yes, I am on the good old IG as well. I mean, why not, right? why not? So yes, go to IG as well, and you can check it out. Check it out there as well. And then YouTube, guys, go to YouTube, watch live, right? You can go to YouTube, watch live if you guys know how to get to YouTube. But guys, subscribe to the channel. Again, forks up to the new subscribers. Very, very excited that you're there. Again, so much going forward as we're wrapping up season 2 and charging towards season 3 of Pitchfork Lunch. But I should probably adjust from that light just a little bit so it's not right. There we go. That is, well, there's still lights, but you know what? Whatever. We're good. But yeah, we're here at the Weather Up Center, the women's practice facility, while the men's is down the hall. But nonetheless, go to YouTube, right? Like I said, watch live on YouTube. You see my name, Michael Curatino, but it's at M as in Michael, V as in Victory, C as in Champ 005, at MVC005 on YouTube, guys, and subscribe away because you have missed a plethora of phenomenal conv reviews here between coaches, players, voices, alum, analysts, alum. Did I mention alum? Yeah, alum. All there on YouTube. So go to YouTube. Again, it's at Evans and Michael, V as in Victory, C as in Champ 005. And watch live, but subscribe away because you can also you can binge watch any of season 1 that if you missed all season 1 last season, again, you missed a lot of laying the foundation, all the ground stuff down. You can binge watch season 1. Anything you've missed from season 2, guess what? You can binge watch that. And by the time season 3 starts, you should be caught up. But although if you wait too much longer, you might have to binge watch a few extra episodes at a time to be starting, or if you want to give yourself a few days, you can backdate it to, I'll let you know when I start season 3, you go from there. But again, coaches, players, analysts, insiders, voices, alum, like all there, and a phenomenal athletic director as well too. But yes, we will be talking to head coach Molly Miller today. Absolutely awesome. Women's basketball, her first taken over was at Grand Canyon, did a phenomenal job. So we will hear from her, and also we will hear from Bobby Hurley as well. And for those that if you need to get in the car and go around, don't worry, you can hear it. You can hear it because, as you know, my Pitchfork Lunchers, we are part of the Casual Sports Radio Network family, KSRN. Again, all you got to do is go to www.ksrnaz.com. Page will open up, click listen live, hit play. There's Pitchfork Lunch Monday through Friday, 12 to 1 for you guys. And the awesome part to that is you'll be able to take everything with you and go from there. So again, you can just go to www.ksrnaz.com, click listen live. When the page opens up, hit play and go from there. And it's stoked that Casual E invited Pitchfork Lunch to be a part of the family, as you guys, as I remind you. But yes, when you're there at the greatest internet radio station on the web, when you're there at their website, subscribe to their socials because he will keep you up to date, in the know with the Suns, the Mercury, the Cardinals, the D-backs. It is all there. Casual E has you hooked up, and the Sun Devil content too. It is one-stop shopping for the ultimate sports fan. Different shows that he has as well. So yes, go to the Casual Sports Radio Network. And you guys know I want you to watch, but please don't watch and drive. And like I always say, you're Sun Devils, you're smarter, you know better. So stream it through your Bluetooth, www.ksrnaz.com. When it opens up, click play, hit listen live, hit play, and then you can stream it through your Bluetooth in your car. You get to where you're going, you're meeting your friends for lunch. Hey, guess what? Then you can either keep listening on your phone or go to the other avenues and watch. But either way, we got you covered. And Sun Devils all over the world. It's always an international flavor here. A lot of international students, but a lot of student athletes, international student athletes, as we know. And I think we might bring that up. We're going to ask Coach Miller about that too. But yeah, you guys have the opportunity. So again, www.ksrnaz.com. Page will open up. Click listen live, hit play Monday through Friday, 12 to 1. Forks up to Casual E, bringing Pitchfork Lunch a part of the family. So, but yeah, guys. So yeah, summer workouts just started, day 3 for hoops teams, and I'm gonna get right to it because we heard from we got to catch up with with well, we heard from I got to talk to Coach Hurley a little earlier, as he had availability, so we'll get in on that. And just again, him talking about everything from portal to obviously, Lou Dort playing in the finals, another Sun Devil playing in the finals. His roster now, we'll hear a little bit about it, but again, there's still some in depth, transfer portal, his teeny bit of an off season, all that good stuff. So yeah, I mean, there's a lot of new players, guys. It's a transfer portal era, and you can say, well, a lot of schools see like they're keeping. There's a lot of jumping around, a little bit more experience. The NIL plays an effect into it. Everybody gets us. So we're not going down a rabbit hole lecturing and, pounding a table or griping or anything like that. But no, we're going to hear from Coach Hurley. So I will bring that to you. I'll bring it to you now. So you can hear what Coach Hurley has to say, because then we will be talking with Coach Miller. Molly Miller again, so stoked. And again, just, and like I said, well, people talk about energy and everything, and it makes sense because Coach didn't have, you're going to get higher, you're going to have energy. You're going to be coming into a program that, was struggle, not that they weren't competing on the court and trying there, but just win-loss, just struggling. So you come in to a program like that, when it's like that, but man, it is exciting. The energy, it's just absolutely awesome. So, but before that, let's hear from Sun Devil men's basketball head coach Bobby Hurley from a little bit earlier today.
And he just had a harder path. He had a different path, but he was great here. I mean, he was Pac-12 Rookie of the Year. He averaged 16 a game. Was great on defense. Got us to the NCAA tournament with some other good players on that team. But I'm not surprised what he's done. It's just he's always been a great worker, and I think nothing was going to stop him.
Could you tell during his freshman year that he had this level of upside?
Yeah, I think there was his first game that it kind of jumped out on me was we played Nevada, I think in Staples, and they were number 6 in the country. And he had 30 in that game. Wasn't really known for being a scorer. He's more of a defensive guy and a rebounder at his position, but really showed me a lot in a game like that he could play at that level. So kind of knew pretty early in that season that he may not be at Arizona State too long.
During his draft process, he mentioned that he took a lot of tape from guys like Donovan Mitchell, Russell Westbrook, explosive guards, but kind of seems like he bought into a completely different role right away and kind of earned his flowers. So what do you think that just says about his professionalism in the league?
I think a lot of guys try and be something that they're not instead of just embracing who they are, and I think that's what Lou's done. And I just got a real kick out of watching it right away and just seeing him, one of his first games at OKC, guarding James Harden, and seeing those two playing against each other a couple of years ago, and then just seeing every game, the guys that he's guarding. He's guarding Ja Morant. He's guarding he gets all the top assignments, and he just rolls up his sleeves and he's ready for it.
How are things going for you right now here with the crew you've got in?
I had fun yesterday. It was I had some butterflies, a little nervous because I have not conducted a workout in about 6 weeks. So it was we had a couple of guys that have cleared medically and able to get some stuff done yesterday, and we'll have another group of workouts today. We're still, I'm not going to really talk a whole lot about the roster yet because it's still, guys are finalizing academic stuff, and we've gone a little bit in the international route this year, so we got some guys that are going through the clearinghouse and different things that have to get done before. So I would say in a few weeks I'd just have a better idea for you of what exactly that looks like.
You talk about that moment with Lou guarding James. What does guys like James, Lou, and Jeff do and say about the program?
Well, I mean, it's James is a guy that's always back to. I mean, it was when Lou was a freshman, he was playing one-on-one versus James, and it came full circle when those two guys were going against each other in an NBA game. And Jeff has always been just again come back, want to be around the guys, around the coaching staff, and just so all three of those guys really have embraced being a Sun Devil and take that very seriously.
Lou said that you really helped him understand what it takes to get to the league. What were kind of your conversations with him like about what it takes to make it to the NBA and carve out a career there?
Just how hard it is, and you know, it's not easy. Once you get there, you're going to be tested so much. You got to believe in yourself. Got to have a lot of confidence. You got to keep working. You got to keep getting better. And you know, I never had to. Lou was always in the gym and always doing those things, and he had great habits. And I think that's carried over, and that's helped him, you know, become the player he is now.
Bobby, every generation swears they worked harder than the next and upcoming generation. But what's the truth? Are there fewer and fewer Lou Dorts in the world that are not entitled and work their way through like him?
Yeah, sometimes your definition of what work means is not always the reality. It's I don't know. One of my friends in the business sent me a photo today of a strength shoe that I trained with. It's like a platform shoe that's supposed to like help your jumping ability. Like it didn't really help me that much, but I did it, and I just remember those days and the training and you know what it takes to get to the highest level. And you know, I've had guys like that, and I haven't had all guys like that, but you know, Lou certainly was on a mission when he came here. He wanted to watch film with me on his own. He wanted to spend extra time working on his game. He was as competitive as any guy I had for that 1 year. He didn't, when I went into Tucson with Lou Dort, man, I felt pretty good. That's all I could say, because that dude was, he fit the profile of what other Arizona teams had, like that guy, that difference maker, athlete, and Lou just gave me a lot of confidence when he was here.
How hard is it to put together a roster nowadays with the portal and NIL, and this year having more turnover than you've ever had, and you've had it before? How hard is it to handle?
I would
the
say
roster?
it's interesting you brought that up, because like years ago, if a player left, and I've had this long relationship, it almost broke my heart. But now I just know this is the reality I'm in. So the relationship piece, you have to be able to say, hey, look, whatever guy that leaves and wants to go somewhere else, like if you want to call me and you want to talk, like I'll be here for you, like, but I'll support whatever decision you have. It's just like, I'll just say my heart doesn't get broken anymore. Like I'm used to it. Like I expect there to be change every year. And now I'm just excited to get in the gym with new guys that we have coming in and seeing what they look like and seeing how that process will evolve.
You mentioned some of the international additions, just broad strokes, putting that emphasis on there. What sort of differences is there when recruiting a guy internationally versus a local prep player?
It depends on what type of international prospect you're bringing in. If you're bringing in a younger guy to develop, that's one thing. If you're bringing in a guy that's played against high-level basketball in Europe, then they're ready to instantly come into college and make an impact. I think the reason we went in this direction a little bit this year is because the NIL and the money that's available now, you're seeing some of the top European and international prospects that never would consider coming over here in the past. They would stay with their club teams. Now those guys are coming into the college game because the money is better and they could make more. And so like we're actually getting a better product. Like college basketball is going to be better because of the infusion of these international players that could play right away and make the game better over here.
What was that international recruiting process like with Lou, specifically in Canada?
I would say it's like closer to like United States. There's not a ton of difference. It was easy to go see him in Montreal. He prepped in Toronto, so we were able to see him there. He played AAU in the United States, so we were able to watch him. So his recruitment was different. And then he had all the academic requirements necessary, so it was a pretty smooth process.
Aside from the physical attributes that Luke already came in with, what intangibles did he have?
He just like great family, great foundation underneath him, great work ethic, drive. He was self-starter. He was not the type of kid that wanted anything handed to him. He wanted to earn it. He was very coachable. Like there was a game that I remember we played Utah here, and we were up like 15 right away, and we lost the lead. I think Remy and Lou took some bad shots, had a couple turnovers. Before you know it, we're like up 2 at halftime. It's Utah's ball. They score like the first 6 points of the second half, and now like the air is like out of the gym, and we lose that game. And then the next game is Colorado, and I sat Lou and I sat Remy, and when I put Lou in the game, like he did not like, hey, I'm a 5-star, you know, I'm a starter. Like, why would you bet? None of that. Like, great teammate, and then went out and performed and kind of never looked back. So those are the kinds of things I remember, just how willing he was to be coached hard.
When you looked to rebuild this roster, what specifically did you look at in your transfers? In that, like, you had some temperamental issues last year and some conduct issues.
Yeah.
Did that play a role in looking at a specific type of player this year?
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to avoid the injury stuff that we had, so I had like trying to avoid that, number one, if we can, if possible, finding the best ways to do that. But certainly in a quick recruiting cycle like we're in, we have to try and evaluate the character and make sure, you know, that's taken care of. That was certainly, you know, a priority as we look to build the roster. Like, also for first year in the Big 12, you know, it's one thing to say Big 12's tough league. To experience it, like, we had to get more bodies and more size, more depth. We have to have better practices this year. I think as guys got hurt, as the season progressed, we had a hard time even practicing. I got to get Mickey Mitchell out of practice. His back's hurting him. So, but we're trying to do a lot of things to eliminate or some of our issues we had last year.
How do you build chemistry in the portal here?
I mean, I'm going to have the team, whoever's here, to my house June 11th to watch the NBA Finals. We're going to try and do as many team building things as we can throughout the summer. I don't really have guys currently that are on draft boards, so I think everybody has got to earn everything they get when they get to campus, and that'll be the approach. You know, we tried to identify guys that I think want to win. You know, we have a number of guys that have 1 year left and got to make it work, myself included. So that's important. And then, you know, we have some other guys that I think we could bring along and develop. So I think we have a pretty good mix of those things.
Have a bit of a flyer because he's younger, but the Suns just hired Jordan Ott as their head coach. Is any chance that you've come across him coaching circles?
I have not, you know, so yeah, I'm not as much immersed in, you know, in the NBA game. It's, I'm all in for the playoffs. Outside of that, not really watching too much, paying attention.
Coach, with the influx of European players, now you talked about that and going to Europe yourself, how does that affect high school kids growing up here in the States?
Well, that's a good question. I think it's like, I think you could be more patient if you got a good structure and good people with giving you good advice. You could grow and develop, you know, over time, and there's not a rush to be thrown to the wolves right away. And so I think you'll see the top 20, 25, 30 high school players still having a significant impact on the college game, but the college game has gotten older and more experienced, so it's just going to be harder for those guys. They might have to wait their turn a little more than they have in the past.
Was it hard to go out and recruit guys being in the last year of your contract? Does that change how you recruit at all?
I shifted just my narrative and the vision and what I was trying to portray to everybody. Like, my back's against the wall. You know, I've loved my time here at Arizona State, and I value that greatly, and I'm a competitor. So, you know, if you have 1 year and you want to be with someone that's all in and invested to win this year and have a great season, then it might make sense for you. So that was kind of the approach I took.
What's been I know you've had a very busy offseason, but what's been your first impression of Molly Miller and the job she's doing building the women's basketball team?
Yeah, she's got like great energy. I think she's really, you know, come on campus and energized the women's basketball program, and really enjoyed coaching with Natasha and being in the building with her and her staff. And I thought, you know, they did a very good job. But you know, I think hopefully Molly will breathe, you know, life into the program, and she's got great energy, and you know, she won last year, and I think she'll do a great job.
Has the pending house settlement case had any looming effect over as he's approached the offseason?
just learning about it and staying up to speed on, potentially when it would get agreed upon, and just so in a little bit of a holding pattern there. But Big 12 head coach meetings last week, it was discussed just what that's going to look like, and the elements of it and everything. So I think we're starting to have a pretty firm handle on it.
You're always at that kind of me that you want to have as many scholarship players as possible, but at the end of the day, the rotation is not going to be more than 9 players, maybe 10 in some cases, and maybe even shrinks when it goes to conference play. So is that kind of like a weird landscape to navigate? I'm sure you get more scholarship players, you want more depth, but the rotation only goes that far.
Yeah, good question. I've always avoided getting to my limit, my scholarship limit in the past, but I got PTSD from last year, so we're going right to the limit this year. I'm bringing, I think, potentially 15 guys, and so I have a vision of an intra-squad scrimmage in July at some point, where I could have 8 guys on one team and 7 on another, and now we get to compete against each other. I'm looking for more competition and practice, better practices. Last year, they just got awful as the year progressed.
So Mickey's not going to be part of that intra-squad?
No, I don't think so, unless, again, we got to get something here with, I don't know, what is the thing you light on fire and it burns? Sage the place before everybody gets going, and hopefully we don't need Mickey again.
Bobby, you kind of touched on it earlier, but Lou's decision to kind of bet on himself after his freshman year, were you in support of that, or were you conversations with him coming back?
I think the feedback was we always get an examination from the NBA about where you're going to get drafted, and Lou's was anywhere from 20 to 35, so he had feedback and potentially first round opportunity. A lot of times guys wait for a promise, and once they get the promise, then they stay in the draft. I think that Lou had should have been drafted. His representatives did a great job of telling some teams hey, don't take him because we don't want to stash him in Europe somewhere. So Lou went undrafted because of that, not because he wasn't worthy of being hearing his name called. But yeah, I mean, his road was different. He evaluated it. He thought he was ready to go. I agreed. Based on the year I had with him, I thought he was physically ready. He had the mental makeup, and he was an NBA player. So I gave him my blessing for whatever that's worth. Thank you.
And there you go. You see it, Bobby Hurley right there a little bit earlier today. And yeah, talking a lot about Lou Dort, obviously playing in the finals of Sun Devil, his defense too. And that's what he was talking about, being somebody you're not. And I mean, Lou, obviously he can shoot the ball. He's a good shooter, became a better shooter, but his defense, and like you talked about that matchup, that first time seeing him guard James Harden, I mean, that's just, as a Sun Devil, I mean, you're tearing at heartstrings there. You're tearing at heartstrings because going up against each other, but no, it's that, and like you said, the roster, 15, and who did we hear that from before about injuries, guys, about not being able to practice and do certain things? And yes, a little more contact in football, we get that, but Coach Dillingham talking about 2 years ago what it was like to after the first month of the season, just not being able to way the practice you want to. If you can practice a certain way, guess what, you can play a certain way. Everybody understands that. You get that pitchfork. Well, not everybody. I'm sure, we might have to have a master class from you pitchfork lunchers out there for the people down south, but you can help them out with that. You can explain. But no, I mean, what Coach Hurley's saying right there, and it's tough. And then, yeah, you heard the one question about, I mean, a few discipline issues and, portal guys, and yeah, you got to get used to it. I loved how Coach said, if a guy left you, you were heartbroken because you start recruiting them and they're, I mean, say you start, let's just say a freshman in high school, you have almost 3 years, 3 full years, even maybe a fourth, depending on when they decide, but 3 years of building a relationship, just getting to know. Obviously, you're recruiting, you're seeing them, just getting to know, seeing how they interact with, you interact with them. But, with the portal and getting experience and older guys. And I love what he said there about freshmen, because he's like, the top 25, 30 probably still have an impact, but with college basketball and again, NIL doing that, these kids shouldn't have been, a lot of them. I mean, some one and dones, you can see why they were one and done. We get it. But it's just the experience when you get it from that, which is obviously playing and being in college and that. And, Kenny Smith actually said something really good about this. He was on I don't know which show he was on, but it wasn't during Inside the NBA, but nonetheless, he was talking about, Michael Jordan having been in college and guys, the players in general that, were in college for 3 years and the coaching that goes on. Not that NBA coaches don't coach, but the development, understanding like different defenses, concepts, everything, like it makes a difference. But now NIL, players staying longer, transfer portal, you get more money, and then I can get to that next level as well. Then it makes sense. So we'll see about that. It's it's an interesting point Coach Hurley brought up right there, just because, and the question asked to him, but about the freshmen, recruiting freshmen and coming in, and, obviously the international pool and kind of international players. So, but yeah, he's not, fully talking about roster yet, but yes, a lot going on there, and Mickey Mitchell, we'll keep track of him. Obviously, a former Sun Devil forks up to that. But hey, let's step aside real quick, because when we get back, guess what, guys? We're going to be sitting down with Sun Devil women's head coach Molly Miller, women's basketball head coach Molly Miller, coming over from Grand Canyon. Phenomenal playing career. I mean, I talked about this when she first got hired. We went through it. Very exciting. Obviously, the opening presser, it's been a whirlwind. But yes, she will be on here on Pitchfork Lunch. So we will step aside and have more Pitchfork Lunch coming right up.
KSRN has an inside track on all things sports, with topics and opinions from former players and local personalities. Catch 15-year NFL veteran Ed Smith and Jay Adams on Easy Sports Talk every Saturday.
Unfortunately, with this back and these knees, I don't quite have that ability, or at least I use.
Are you good? For all things Arizona Cardinals, tune in Monday nights with Casual E and Sean Conn.
Bird Gang, I know it's another tough loss, but keep encouraged. We miss you, BA.
And now you can exclusively listen to former Arizona Cardinal Jeremy Bridges on his show, JB and Benny Blue Review.
Exactly.
Don't be dumb.
Sending the message out to the world.
Always relaying that message. Don't be dumb.
Yes, your guy, Benny Blue, comedian extraordinaire.
Exclusively on KSRN, Casual Sports Radio Network.
This is the sound of a racing heart. It's beating a little faster because it belongs to a young child. But this child isn't in the middle of a close soccer game or playing with her puppy in the yard. Her heart is racing because she's just been told she has to move foster homes again. Change a child's story. There's a child waiting for a volunteer like you. Learn how you can help at casaforchildren.org.
Got a big painting project you've been putting off because you don't think you can afford it? Well, it's time to call the team at Customer First Solutions. Customer First is your one-stop shop for all home repairs, from full interior and exterior painting to handyman services, drywall repair, electrical, and plumbing. Customer First has the most competitive prices in the Valley. Your flat rate quote is based on the square footage of your home, and that includes wall repair. All Customer First technicians are licensed, bonded, and fully background checked for your assurance. Call or text Customer First Solutions at 480-877-0255 for your free quote. Customer First Solutions, where our customers and their homes are our first priority.
You are listening to the best internet radio station on the web, KSRN, Arizona.
All right, Pitchfork Launchers. Look, I told you, we're back in the gym. I told you it was coming. She has a phenomenal and ridiculous schedule, and we're going to get to that because, believe me, a lot of people, like I tell you, friends, been asking me about, we got to get Coach on. This is awesome. A great hire. Everybody's excited, as are you. But Coach Miller is here with me on Pitchfork Lunch, guys, and let's start with that. I mean, obviously, it's exciting to be here when you first get hired. I've heard different coaches in different sports say throughout the years, man, it'd be really great if you could just get hired right after the last day of their season, because the whirlwind that is what you have to, a team, a coaching staff, other coaches, everything, signing the contract, family. But so was it, and I've had a coach say to me before, Coach Miller, did you just go home after you basically signed, said, all right, I'm coming here. Did you just, you and the fam go home, you kind of freshen up, take a nap, hit the road, hit every event? What was that whirlwind like for you?
It was crazy, but it was exciting for me because this new chapter, you have to deal with things in real time. So here I am, we had a phenomenal season. I think two things can be true at the same time. I loved what we did at Grand Canyon. That team means the world to me. They mean everything. What a great year. So being able to celebrate that and take a moment to appreciate that was important. But then, like you said, with the portal and the hiring of the staff and, trying to get out into the Arizona State community, that was a priority for me. So, yeah, I got off the plane and I know Graham had texted me. He's like, no pressure, but there's a softball game tonight. I'm like, I'll be there. So we quickly went home, freshened up, and then made it to the softball game. And it was just great because then you got to meet people, see the excitement that fans had about this next chapter in my journey. So it was fast and it was quick, but looking back, I think I enjoyed that part because you went on adrenaline and you were constantly going and meeting people, but it was all exciting.
And you and your husband have young kids, so you know what it's like not to get any sleep anyway. I mean, no, but that's just, and it was awesome. And like I said, seeing you at softball and then, over at baseball, throwing out the first pitch. And like you said, getting to meet the coaches. So like Grand Canyon, because you always hear coaches say, this is what I love to ask you coaches, like, you learn a lot from winning. I mean, Herm Edwards, who used to be here, but it's Jetsing, you play to win the game. Every game people say, I don't get this game. I'm like, you play to win. Whatever you have to do, outscore your opponent by 1 point. That's it. But you always hear the cliche, a lot of adages like, oh, you learn more from winning than losing, but you play to win the game and it's, it's about winning. But 30 games in a row last year, I mean, I gotta hit that. Like, at what point does it become, because I know in this day and age, especially with social media, years ago it may have been easier to ignore, but everybody after 5 and then 10 has one kind of little error to it, 15, 20, 30. But like during that win streak, what do you learn about yourself as a coach? And I mean, does it become tougher to coach during just an insanely awesome win streak like that?
Yeah, I mean, before I went to Grand Canyon, we had like a 32 game win streak at Drury. So I'm used, like, that's all I know really is stringing those wins together. But I do think it involves some creativity. How do you keep your kids engaged, especially on paper when you're playing a team, that opponent that you're probably going to beat, 9 out of 10 times? Yeah. How do you keep them engaged? How do you keep them motivated? Something we did last year, I'd always ask them, what's our record? And they say 0-0. That's just a mindset that we had. It's not about what we've done. It's about where we're at. It's not really about what we're going to do. It's about where we're at. Right. So just staying in that moment and relying on our normal, which our default setting was working hard, preparing the best, making sure we were taking care of our bodies. Like all that was just talked about in terms of a culture. So when you have that by nature, that's just a natural thing that we approached every day with that mindset, then the byproduct is winning, and you just hopefully can string as many of those together as you can. And your teams are really, really good. They're good when they can sustain winning like that.
Absolutely. And, Coach Dillingham, I mean, obviously, when he got hired, he's like, I'm young, I should have energy. People keep saying, oh, this, energetic coach. Like, you obviously have to understand the game. You played the game at a very high level. You played, you're coaching. But to, like I said, to have that energy, when you see it, though, start to, like, the lights come on for the players. And you said, they're going to be competitive. And it's like, we're going to look forward to. What's the funnest part for you as a coach? Because I know you said in your open presser, I love that, becoming a parent actually helped make you a better coach. In your opinion, I've heard a lot of coaches say that, it does help you become a better coach. But when you see that energy getting passed on to the kids, and obviously the reward of winning and the streaks and the notoriety, how has that affected your coaching style?
I keep it pretty simple. And the simplicity for me is I'm asking my kids, my girls, to give me everything they have every single day, to pour into this program, to buy into the concepts, to work hard and not take plays off. If I'm asking them to do that, I have to bring my best every day. If I'm asking them to have a good, positive body language and attitude, I have to. If I'm telling them that energy and effort is a requirement, then I have to bring my best and bring my energy and have effort. So it's very matter of fact for me. I'm asking them to go above and beyond. So they need to see that behavior modeled from their head coach.
And when you say exactly, and it's crazy because you see, like I said, the energy, and I meant, when you take over a program, obviously, winning wasn't happening. It's tough for coaches because, again, you'll say, oh man, there's so many coaches, so huge. But I mean, it is a small community. I mean, through paths, you always hear, oh yeah, I may have not coached with them, but I know this coach through that, or I worked with them there. So obviously it's tough to come in because, winning hasn't been happening. And you talk about the energy, but in this day and age with transfer portal, and there are some returners back. I want to get to the roster too, but keeping players here that were here, because obviously they were here for a reason, and you can spot it. But what's outside of trying to inject the energy, what's the biggest challenge of just taking over a program where like I said, unless somebody retires, no coach is coming in because somebody just won a national title?
Yeah, well, first I have to give those kids that are returners some credit because they picked Arizona State without me. Without me not being here. So I wanted to, be mindful of that and tell them my vision and how I thought they fit that vision. But the biggest thing was, culture, good, bad, or indifferent. There's going to be a change of the look and the feel of how someone runs a program. And for me, I just gave them that clean slate and fresh start. And hey, I just need these things from you. I need you to be you can't commit to just specific parts of the program. You have to commit to everything, whether that's on the court, off the court, academics, and the community. And then you got to come and work hard every day. Again, it was pretty simple, but sharing that vision, and it's a good testament to them that they said, okay, yeah, I can do that. And I still want to be a part of this. But then when you get into the portal, you've got to really do your research. And it's this narrowed window to where I'm recruiting high school kids right now. 3 days ago, I was allowed to call 27s. So I had this whole 27s list. I've got 2 years to get to know them.
Right.
In the portal, you've got this narrow window. Yep. So our staff, compliments to them, we worked really hard. We were picking up the phone, every touch point that they had in their past, give us the experience you had with this kid, because we want to do it right. So the winning will come, and I believe that. But there's going to be a process probably to getting both the elite athlete and the high level recruit and the character kid that we're trying to get to establish this culture. So I think we've started out great on the culture piece, and I think we've got some good basketball players. And then when you add the brand and the intensity, I think it's going to be a winning product. But that'll weave into the years a little bit here in the infancy stages.
She was busy. I told you, pitchfork lunch. She had to recruit. She can't just sit down. I mean, it would be great to. She said to me, she is accessible. She has been everywhere, like she said. But let me ask you that, because I mean, obviously Charlie Turner Thorne, I mean, she started here back a few minutes ago when I was in school here, and I just remember when she came in and just being around the program. And I know, you said she had reached out, and so from a recruiting standpoint, and again, we won't go into details because I know you can't. Everybody else in the world can, but the coaches can't. But she did have, I mean, obviously bringing in players, but like international wise, I mean, have you, and again, in the day and age of the transfer portal, it's insane because I know you were talking earlier about obviously, you know, dipping in experience. Like, yeah, you want to have those foundation kids and get them and keep them here and develop them. But the international, I mean, she had quite a bit of success with that. Have you, you know, picked her brain about that? Because obviously I know, you know, even Coach Early's talking about that, and either other coaches I've talked to, I mean, that brings a different challenge in and of itself.
Yeah, no, well, there's a huge advantage being one of the largest public institutions. We've got a huge international population. So, you know, when you call a kid from Brazil, there's a little already Brazilian pocket here, you know, and I think for me, we dipped in a lot of different areas, and that there's strategy to that. There wasn't an incoming freshman class when I got the job, but we've got two. We've got one from Italy that's coming over, and then Amaya Williams, who's from Mater Dei. So we were able to, you know, do international there. I thought that was really beneficial to try to get a freshman class going in April. That's not easy. But the other thing, you've got a mix of portal, you got a mix of international, you got a mix of freshmen. I think all those areas are really important to cultivate. And when you have the opportunity to recruit those areas, you can get some instant experience, but you can also build it with freshmen. You can also, you know, establish a reputation with the international recruiting area. So we're doing all of that right now. It's been fun.
Well, I know another coach who's been obviously great to have her time on the show is Coach Party from water polo, because that is a very international squad, an alum and international squad. Okay, so you mentioned the roster. I mean, obviously, like, putting it together, because you're, I mean, in recruiting, like you said, transfer portal wise, you're more so selling what you did. Yes, I mean, you can, like you said, an international thing at Arizona State, and there's a lot to sell, as you well know. But you're selling yourself. But like this roster so far, that you know, the roster that you have that you formed coming in, just your kind of overall, like, yeah, it's going to be work, but I mean, you're motivated. It's exciting. But talk to the Pitchfork Lunches about this roster.
Yeah, I mean, I've spent 3 days with them on the court. We just started on Monday, so this was day 3, and everyone's got a shot. That's what I think. You're seeing everyone work really, really, really hard, because there's no order yet. You know, roles aren't defined yet. So it's fun to see everyone competing, you know, for minutes or contribution, even in the summer. And we said today, you know, you can't hide the work you did in summer from winter. So everyone's got that mentality. You've kind of seen some leaders come into play. I think last year, Poa, I mean, she's a national champion. She has been our motor. Gabby Elliott, I mean, she's a double-digit scorer. Coming from the Power 4 scene, as is Marley. So those experienced kids that, yeah, they might only have 1 year left, but they're bringing so much to get us started. Like, their year will last a program lifetime. You know, we're shaping our season right now, but we're also shaping our culture. So some of those experienced kids are helping us do that. And that's been really great to see. And we've got some really good young ones. They're just hungry, you know, and I've been pleasantly not surprised. I knew it would happen, but it's been wonderful to see the buy-in on defense, because like that's my thing, you know, like I'm convicted to that area. They want to get it right, and they're locked eyes with me, and they're nodding their head, and they're like, let me do it over. Like, when you get that, you're like, all right, I got them.
I was gonna say, because see, we didn't even script this, guys. See, future and broadcast, coach for a long time and win a lot, but future and broadcasting there, perfect transition. I was gonna say, because I know in your opening press when you said it, Coach Charlotte Turner-Thorne was there, and knowing her and how those teams played, like when you said the defense, I could just kind of see the ears kind of pop up a little more. But I know this day and age of basketball, you know, and every generation after them softer, and you know, in basketball there's not a ton of defense. People aren't playing defense, which it's ridiculous to me. But inevitably, the conversation has to be out there. But when you talk about that, and I mean, it's something as a buy-in on defense. What are the things that, I mean, like you said, their energy, but like when you're seeing it, when you're teaching it, like what is something that you feel like you have to get across? Because yeah, it is a big part of the game. They understand it, but it's like, okay, now put the effort in.
I mean, if you don't, you're not going to play. So it's pretty simple. Playing time is a good motivator. And if you can buy into that side of the ball, and you can give relentless energy to that side of the ball, it's a fun brand because then everyone's involved in the offense. When your defense can create the offense, you don't know who's going to be involved in the 3-on-2 or the 2-1. It could be anyone when you get a steal. And we push in transition. So we play, everyone says they want to play fast pace. We actually can because we're generating a lot of steals.
Right.
And we're getting teams to turn the ball over. So that's some equal opportunity basketball in the open court that is a fun brand to play. And so that's why our kids buy in, is because they can reap the benefits and the rewards of a good defensive unit.
I was going to say, I never heard a player complain about a 1-on-0
Right,
layup.
yeah,
Two
yeah.
free points all day long.
Yeah.
I'll take it.
I call it a pick six. Just pick it, go score.
Absolutely. Okay, so all right, let's talk about the fun stuff, because the pitchfork launchers, I mean, the X's and O's again. And we have a season, we have a summer, like you said, 3 practices. They just got started, but to get to that. But okay, so your time here at ASU, do you have like just in your time coaching or anything, like something here from ASU that stuck out to you? Any like players, events, anything, even though you've been busy, but like from afar, I know players, coaches, they always keep up.
Yeah, no, the people have been phenomenal. I mean, I feel like the head coaches group is really tight knit. We have our own little text thread, and that's just been really supportive and positive. And, you know, they've reached out to me any way I can support and help you. Let me know. We're happy you're here. Like, that stood out the most, is this community and this family that Graham and the administration is building. Like, it's real. And I've just loved that open arm embrace that I've gotten from the beginning, and that support that I know I'm going to feel year round.
That's awesome. All right. So with the kids, like, I know that you were teaching them, you were telling them how to do the pitchfork, the peace sign. And everything.
Yeah.
That was awesome. Again, always a coach, but have they adapted to it, and how much fun are they having with this?
Yeah, it's like we're doing a family picture, and they're like, okay. I'm like, you don't have to do the pitchfork every time.
No, they do. That's awesome. That's great,
But, yeah,
Coach.
we're not complaining.
No, exactly.
Yeah, it's like their habits now. They're loving life right now. They'll come up and visit mom, put in some long hours, but when they come, after school or bring me dinner in the office, it's fun. And everyone will know them because they're going to run around like they own the place. And maybe rightfully so, since I drag them to so many gyms here and there, but they love being a part of it. We had the team over about a week ago, and they set up this big, picture easel welcoming them. And one of our players brought over Legos to play with them. So it really is, when you can blend the two, it's been awesome.
And I love when you coaches say that too, because in every sport they say, oh, it becomes family. And the teams that win, it's like, and I always say, having a huge Italian family, like within family, there's going to be headbutting, there's going to be arguing, there's going to be, I can't, you did it wrong, or I did it right, or I can't stand you, but it's over. It's after that. So that is just awesome. But all right. And favorite basketball movie?
Oh, Love and Basketball.
Okay.
Easy. That's like easy.
Awesome. She is Coach Molly Mill. Look at that, pitchfork launchers. A whole first season coming up at the summer. So yes, and an indoor sport, thumbs up, because of the nice air conditioning in Arizona, as you know. But Coach, thanks so much, obviously, for jumping on. And I look forward, obviously, to going forward into the season. Again, I know it needs to take time, but just getting there and just seeing all you do. So again, thanks for jumping in, Pitchfork Launch.
Appreciate it.
We will have so much more coming up.
KSRN has the inside track on all things sports, with topics and opinions from former players and local personalities. Catch 15-year NFL veteran Ed Smith and Jay Adams on Easy Sports Talk every Saturday.
Unfortunately, with this back and these knees, I don't quite have that ability, or at least I use.
For all things Arizona Cardinals, tune in Monday nights with Casual E and Sean Connery.
Bird Gang, I know it was another tough loss, but keep encouraged. We miss you, BA.
And now you can exclusively listen to former Arizona Cardinal Jeremy Bridges on his show, JB and Benny Blue Review.
Exactly.
Don't be dumb.
Sending a message out to the
But
world.
you're always relaying that message. Don't be dumb.
Yes, your guy, Benny Blue, comedian extraordinaire.
Exclusively on KSRN, Casual Sports Radio Network.
You are listening to the best internet radio station on the web, KSRN, Arizona.
Oh, yes, all. Was that not phenomenal? Thank you so much to Coach Miller, obviously, for doing that. Forks up all day long. You get pitchfork lunchers know that. That was awesome. And again, a lot right there. Again, just like I said, building a team, family, having kids, like it is all there. The organization, obviously, but like the competitiveness. How many times did she say competitive? A ton, but so awesome to catch up with Coach Miller. And yeah, loving basketball. So that is a great hoops movie. It is a great hoops movie. I still lean towards, and that's right there. Hoosiers. I mean, that's an oldie but a goodie. I mean, Blue Chips with Shaq and Penny. I mean, come on, Nick Nolte. Come on. No, but I'm loving basketball definitely. Sorry, Shaq. Sorry, Penny, but I liked it. I enjoy it. I'll watch it. But yeah, no. But yeah, I mean, it's a lot there. And like you said, coming from the roster and that recruiting just it's always year round. You guys know this, but just absolutely awesome. And like I said, summer gym started, and they'll get that start building up that base, like your coach is talking about. Believe me, when you're at practice, you see stuff like you just being here and seeing some today, and I mean just the work and yeah, I mean all communication, and yeah, you win games now, right? You win games now. And yes, adjustments have to happen. Everybody understands. Yes, like in-game adjustments and all that good stuff. But that is that. So big forks up to Coach Miller. Obviously, Doug Tamara for helping out with that. Big forks up to that. Coming on the show here from Coach Hurley as well. So yeah, and all Hoops Day here in the summer as we get ready for the NBA Finals as well. And Lou Dort, a Sun Devil, will be playing it. And again, it's all about Sun Devil Nation. So I'm going to get out of here. Everybody have a phenomenal rest of your Mike, what day is it? Hump Day. Woo. Yep. That's for my mom. That's her favorite. So yes, have a phenomenal rest of your Wednesday. I will see you tomorrow. Same bat time, same bat channel. And like, as you guys know, like reigning Big 12 champions, winning Big 12 champions women's volleyball reminded me, as always, it is #ourstate. That's right, because we are Devils, #ourstate. And you guys know it. Have a phenomenal rest of your Wednesday. But as always, Coach is always teaching her kids. Our kids are always doing it. So yes, we always do it here. But as always, forks up.
I went to Arizona State. Right. I'm a Sun Devil, man.
The 27-yard line. That's a great call. Play fake. Bubba will put it up. Throws over the middle. Touchdown. Great flag.
That's away. Traffic light. Trying to center off with Eckerly, and he just missed the net. O'Reilly with the shot. Far down. He scored.